How you doing?
Oh, I'm living the dream. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I've been looking forward to this podcast since listening to the last one because I definitely have notes. I'm doing it already. I definitely have notes for this podcast from last podcast. Do you have anything, or can I just jump into it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, I just got myself doing it again. Last time I said that if you drank every time I said the word dope, you would have had a good time. And this time I am saying that if you drank every time you heard me say, you would be dead now. And I sincerely apologize to everyone, because that's definitely something that, that at one point I did have pretty well beaten out of me, and that has everything to do with it's all I'm gonna notice for now and forever.
Nathan.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
One of the most prolific speakers of our era. That was built into the way he spoke. And he speaks to this day.
So once upon a time, my Army anecdote number 3. I know I just did it again. I spent 9 months in 2 different Army schools, one at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, one at Fort Gordon, Georgia. And the Georgia one is all about the job that you do as a signaleer, as a communications officer. But the Fort Sill, the Oklahoma one, these are basic skills everybody needs right now, because we're at war right now, and everybody needs to know how to do convoy operations and how to fire every sort of weapon, how to set a tank on fire with a missile launcher, rocket launcher. Did that was cool. But one of the things that they also taught was public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 exercises that were so good that I took them back to the YMCA when I was doing the team leadership program director thing was talking for either a minute or 2 minutes on any random subject. Mine was literally Galapagos turtles. And you just stand up there and talk about Galapagos turtles. And it's not about bullshitting, it's about composing yourself, it's about not doing silly things with your hands. Built into that exercise is every time that you say one of those filler words, those type of words, all 20, 30 other people that are in the platoon are supposed to go, right back at you. So it breaks you of it really quickly. And what you're supposed to do is just not say the word, just think about what you're going to say, and if you're going to say that word, just don't say it and have silence instead. And the reason for that is that you're going to go as a butter bar in front of majors, was another one of those words. Majors, colonels, lieutenant colonels, depending on where you are, and you're the master of your little bubble domain, and it's what you're doing could be very, very important to the operation, but you are also 1 year into something that folks have been doing for 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
So you can't go in there saying, so they beat it out of you. And I was thoroughly, had that beaten out of me, and now I can't, especially listening to last week's podcast, I just cannot help but, right now, hear it every time that I do it. So that's my apology, and my promise to get better at that, since I am committed to doing these once a week, and don't want to sound like an idiot. Period. End of sentence.
I mean, I really do think that you're in your own head more than you should be about it. I do the audio mastering and stuff after the fact. I'm the one that puts together in video form to put it on YouTube. I hear it. I don't notice you saying it. It's just part of the flow of your speak. And I personally appreciate it more if you just let it flow and you let it go than if you're just constantly thinking about it, then it just feels a little bit choppy.
It's one thing if it's every other sentence. There was just too much of it last time. Go back, listen, try and take a sip of beer every time I do it. You'll be done. Speaking of your audio production, other folks were asking if, at some point we'll add cameras, if at some point just extra production stuff. And I don't think people appreciate that this is like a no budget sort of operation, and that you turn this around as quick as you can, I'm sure, and it's still like a 24-hour, a little bit less than 24-hour thing. And adding video, if we do that ever, is not anywhere in the near future.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that one, I don't know anything about it. Two, I don't really care that much to learn about it unless we're getting paid. So maybe if we set up a Patreon and like people wanted to sign up to it and then started getting money, so we could this is a borrowed microphone we're using. We don't have our own microphone. We're not wearing headsets. We're not doing anything fancy. And I'm not gonna buy a camera for sure. Mm-hmm. If I haven't bought a microphone yet, I'm not buying a camera.
Yeah.
So this is probably what you're gonna get unless we win $1 billion tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
And then if that happens, then I'll build a whole fucking studio for it. We'll have backdrops and all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah. But you're already outside of the producing away some background noise that by the time listeners hear this they won't hear. I think you did your first actual audio edit last podcast where you cut something out.
I did.
Nice.
Yeah. And
it takes time, and it's just, I appreciate at least, because I have done similar but different things in the past of video, turning a PowerPoint into a video and uploading that to YouTube and splicing that with some other things. Every minute takes 8 minutes, 15 minutes of work behind it. So
okay, I just want to set the record clean here. I just want to be completely honest with you. The amount of time I put into editing the audio for a full episode, sub 10 minutes. So then really the thing that takes the longest is just getting the audio into the video program, putting our title page that just stays on there that I don't have to do anything but just copy paste a few times. The longest thing the longest time taking part of the whole thing is just uploading it into YouTube, which is 4 minutes.
You're a better man than me. I would have kept that for me.
I mean, the thing is, if anyone were to ever listen to this and they kind of even halfway know anything about sound, they'll know Kelly's bullshitting. He's not doing anything. It sounds like absolute ass.
At one point I was so self-conscious that I thought about asking you to edit out some of the uhs. And I was like, no, it already takes so long.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's why I think you even brought that up to me at one point. I shut that down because I was like, dude, I got 30 minutes to get this thing from raw to on YouTube. Let's just do it. Because, that's just the thing. I'm not that jazzed about the production into it. I just like talking to you.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I definitely think we should keep it as low rent, low budget, low time as possible.
Until we win $1 billion tomorrow, and then I'm going to hire people to do shit for us.
Deal.
Might even get the same guys that do your mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
They're here in Austin. They can come out once a week for a couple hours.
You haven't watched yesterday's episode 666, have you?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Alright. Not spoiling nothing. Your mom's house, really big podcast if you're not into podcasting, listener. Ashley and I have been listening to Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky since 2015 at least. Probably a little bit sooner. and they are a good time. We saw them live for New Year's one year when they had a New Year's extravaganza at the old Cap City Comedy on North Lamar. It was a really good time. Doug Benson was the MC.
I know him. I met that guy. I have a picture with him.
I guess we do too.
He's real short.
Yeah.
Everybody's real short.
Everybody's real short to you, yeah.
To me. Except Brad. Brad's tall.
Mm-mm.
He's always been... Him and Tim Steinke.
Mm.
Us three were like, I think the tallest people out of pretty much our whole high school class.
Indeed. We saw Brad on Sunday.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious seeing him have to get on a step stool though to get to the cabinet above the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given it was really high, and even though Brad is very tall, it's just like, even me, like I personally feel like I gotta try everything else before I get a step ladder, just because I'm like, I'm tall, I should be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I try really hard at it, but that was pretty cool. Seeing Brad was awesome. Meeting his son was awesome. His wife was awesome.
It was great food.
I ate the shit out of all those leftovers. He gave us so much leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate all of it.
He offered us leftovers, and I was at first like, hang on, we don't need leftovers because we've planned our whole, week.
Mm-hmm.
I messed up at some point. Like a day short on meals, so I'm gonna go pick up some chicken tenders after this to fry them up. I am busier than I have been the last 2 times that we did one of these. Just got a text from my good work counterpart. Had a very important, literally 3-hour demo with a super cool customer. I'll just leave it at that. And the nature of my job, I sell software to government, and I am not, a lot of people that know I was in the Army and know that I did Signal, and especially in the family, think of me as like a highly technical person, and I am not. I'm not a very organized person either. It's just being around those things for so long, I definitely know enough to be dangerous and mile wide, inch deep sort of knowledge.
I use that quote all the time. I've used it ever since you taught it to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's real good. I use it all the time.
Should probably find some synonymous ones to.
That's really like the
up.
Definition of my personal life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to jack your story, but like, I know a little bit about a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that phrase. But go ahead. Busy time.
A lot of lawyers say that about themselves. That you're not an expert in anything, you just know a whole lot about everything.
Yeah.
I remember that from youth and government back in sophomore year in high school. God. I have quarterly business reviews tomorrow, and then usually I'm traveling a lot more, but everybody's been on vacation in government,
Mm-hmm.
So things have been pretty slow, but they're already picking up again. So that's been keeping me really busy and a little bit stressed out. But then also, people that follow me on Facebook know that October 1st, 2021, last year, I started a 12-month project to hit a bunch of like fitness milestones based on NFL cornerbacks and wide receivers because I love Ultimate Frisbee. Ultimate Frisbee has been a huge part of my life since Eric Anderson introduced me to it in high school. Did it in college. When I came back from deployment, well, first when we moved out here to Austin in 2011, I was getting ready for deployment and recovering from a broken foot. And Ultimate Frisbee was definitely where I made a bunch of friends that I'm still friends with now that I had never known before. One of who is the Tyrannosaurus Rex fantasy football champion right now. Yep. But came back from deployment, I weighed like 190, like 8% body fat, super strong, and didn't have to work for something like 6 or 9 months. So I was playing Ultimate Frisbee twice a week and had just a great gas tank, could do all these things.
Yep.
And then started working for Informatica, which was a desk job, but I was still playing Ultimate Frisbee most of the time. And then the place where we used to play Ultimate Frisbee, a Church of Latter-day Saints on Old Wharf.
Uh-huh. No, yeah.
That stopped happening because the folks that hosted us went to a different state mostly. And then I turned 35 in the middle of COVID when everybody was on lockdown. And ate too much, for sure. Like, ate all that peach cobbler you made.
Yeah.
And just got a belly that just never went away. So when I turned 36, I was determined that between 36 and 37, set those benchmarks. And if I miss them, I don't. But I'm going to strive to be able to do all these cool fitness things that cornerbacks, wide receivers coming into the NFL draft. Like, not a high scoring one. Like, probably pretty much the bottom of the people that do that. Trying to do those things. And I have a benchmark not this week, but next week. So this is the week where I'm running every morning and working out every afternoon, and also trying to eat like 6 meals a day. And it's just a lot. It's a lot on all ends. My legs are always sore.
Yeah, those are the dangers of trying to be healthy.
Yeah. But it's super cool having Ashley be like such an accomplished personal trainer. She made a like October, November, she's in the gym every day. So I was just in there with her, dicking around, listening to audiobooks with her, and then I would occasionally like do whatever she was doing or just do bench press in the corner. And then once I was, back used to working out every day, then she made me like a proper fitness plan, like what she would charge people for, and did that through February-ish. When I was, then I'm pretty competent to go into the gym myself now. I'm doing all these things I've never done before, as far as like very heavy squats and hang cleans, things that I wouldn't be able to do without Ash.
Right.
But yeah, next, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'll be posting on Facebook the results of the, August benchmark, and then I have September, and then the last one is my birthday weekend. And I might do a sober September to go with it too, as far as just really, really clean living.
Just really push it as hard as you can, right, for that final benchmark setting.
Yeah, and then just go nuts for my birthday, because I think it's on a Saturday. It's definitely on the weekend. Might be Friday, might be Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I'm a little worn out right now, especially with the work stuff. A little frustrated.
I know the feeling. Work right now for me is frustrating as well. Summer months are just slow in general because that's just when everybody takes their vacation. So most industries have just really slow summers. But I'm not here to talk about my job or any of that. I'm trying to get away from that. So unless you weren't going into something else just right away right now, or continuing on with your previous thought.
No, I think I shared some Army stuff and some Nathan stuff. So what's...
So...
Yeah.
First of all, I want to go back to, because you didn't let me finish what I was saying before when we were talking about your conversation. One of the greatest people to speak in our time that uses a lot. I never even revealed who it was.
It's not Jeff Goldblum, is it?
No.
Okay, because he does sometimes.
But that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I was like, I know Jeff Goldblum.
Barack Obama.
Okay.
He does it a lot. So I just wanted to say that because I was just like, I never got to put closure on the end of that. Anyway.
Well, shocker. I'm no Barack Obama either.
I don't know. You kind of look like him.
Okay.
But, yeah, so you were talking about your ums just from the previous episode. I wanted to kind of go back and revisit something I said from the previous episode and just kind of go a little bit deeper into it. We were talking about the landlocked states.
Yeah.
And how, for whatever reason, I felt there was a need to have a coastline in the state I'm residing in, even though the state I'm currently residing in and the location in said state I am in could be multiple states away from the ocean in other regions of the country. Like in New England, I bet I could be in West Virginia with the distance from where I am here to the ocean. It's probably similar to like someone in West Virginia to the ocean. Like you got to go through other states to get there.
Sure.
Anyway, I digress. I was saying last week about I really never wanted to go in the ocean, didn't want to get on a boat, didn't want to go on any cruises, which I still kind of mostly pretty much agree with, but I also forgot about the part where I was, over the last few weeks, I watch a lot of YouTube. That's what I do majority of my free time. Just because there's a lot of shit on there and you can always find something you personally enjoy. And I stumbled across this channel of a guy, actually, his name is Sam Holmes. If anybody's really interested to go looking for it, just YouTube Sam Holmes. And the dude, his whole channel is about sailing. And he sails around the world. Like he went from, I think maybe the Carolinas, then to Bermuda, then to the Azores, then to Portugal. I could be wrong about this route, but and then up into Europe, just everywhere. Like he crossed the Atlantic, and he's been from California to Hawaii before, and he just sails everywhere in his sailboat. And it's just him 99% of the time, just him by himself in the sailboat. And I was like, geez, that's a pretty cool concept. Just being able to have your own boat and travel the entire world. I mean, given it takes a long time, the ocean is scary as hell, especially when you're talking about a 20-day crossing. Mm-hmm. It took him 20 days to get from Bermuda to Portugal, I think. Or wherever he was, maybe it was the Azores, which I think is around there. Anyway, 20 days at sea by yourself in just the middle of the ocean is one of the scariest things I could think of. But it's also just like, wow, the power of just having a boat and just being in your own water world and just going wherever you want and just docking and doing all that. It really intrigued me, but I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but I mean, I'm sure the dude's a multi-millionaire. Like, stuff's got to be so expensive. Mm-hmm. I did a little digging, and through some of his videos, he's actually owned maybe like 2 or 3 different boats. And the one that I first started out with watching him, and the one I think he does the majority of his videos with, is the same boat. So I'm looking into it, and I'm like, what boat is that? How much does it cost? I'm just curious.
Like you would do with a small prop plane or something like
that. Yeah. You just want to know like what's the entry level to this game. And then I even went as far as into looking how much did he specifically pay for his boat, and how much did it cost for him to get his boat equipped enough, and just how much does it cost to sail on that said boat. I want to pose a question to you.
Yeah.
A boat that can sail around the entire world relatively safely, across open ocean, how much do you think it would cost for said boat?
Do I get any clues as far as like how long?
28 feet.
That's a lot. That was a thinking that wasn't a filler I would say $76,000. $8,000?
$8,000 is all his boat cost pretty much when he bought it. And then I went, and he bought that boat maybe almost a decade ago, so I was like, okay, it's probably gone up. Did some Googling, searched for the exact same type of boat, same size. It might have been a year or two newer or younger or older. I found one for $8,000 in good condition.
That's interesting. I was thinking of a car first, and then, well, it's much larger than a car, so tack on, more. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because presumably it has a bunch of electronics like GPS and
I mean,
screens that tell you.
it definitely does
What
come
you're
with some of that, but if you're planning on doing like the full on, like not just sailing up and down coasts, you're probably going to add a little more. And then I did some more digging, and to get his boat ready to like cross the Atlantic or the Pacific or like to go on long voyages. After the original 8,000 investment, he maybe had to spend 10 to 12 more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was ready to go. So we're talking like 20,000 all in for all the equipment you need to sail all around the world.
Still significantly less than a new car. And yeah, I was thinking with just the electronics alone would be more than 4,000 or 8,000, yeah.
And he has like auto steer, like that goes off the wind, like all kinds of other fancy stuff. Like he's roughing it, but he's not like in a rowboat. He's in a nice boat. And then you know me, I love hypotheticals. I love grand ideas. I love daydreaming. That's what I love it to a fault, basically. Like I could spend a lot of time during the day just thinking through wild scenarios and stuff. So I did what I'm good at, and I did that with this, and I was like, okay, just for shits, if me, Nathan, Ashley, and Jeremy wanted to get a boat, how big would the boat be? How much would it cost? Went looking into it, and to get a boat the size we need for all four of us, it ramps up quite quickly, the price.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, so it was basically just get two boats.
Okay.
Well, then you
Not
have a
one boat with
backup.
2 rooms, but 2 boats, okay.
Then you have a backup. Like, just get two $8,000 boats. Then you have someone always with you, so if something goes wrong with your boat, there's an emergency getaway kind of situation. And I just got into this fantasy of, like, let's just go, I mean, not be pirates, but just go live out on the ocean. And, like, those are the homes. And it just, again, I would never really want to do this. And I know no one else in the group would really want to do this. But it's just a really fun thought. Like, it's relatively cheap to sail around the world. And if we put out some awesome content about it, then it'll just pay for itself and you can just go forever, basically, indefinitely. But again, I don't like the ocean. The thought of going 20 days without seeing land is just scary as fuck. But yeah, I had to share that because sailing videos have been, I've done, they really got me good, and I've done a lot of research on it, and just the whole traveling the world thing has just been really top of mind for me lately.
Can I ask some questions that might sound like poking holes, but it's really just, if we're going to do it, these are questions that have to be asked?
I feel like there's a very slim chance you're going to ask anything I haven't already asked myself, so shoot.
So I have always heard that boats are money pits, and when you talked about the guy like rolling up on a port, I assume you can't just park your boat anywhere you want to, right? Like you have to pay something, or
yeah, I mean you'd anchor in the harbor, take your little dinghy, ride that to shore, set up, pay for a spot to park up, or you could just, for a much lesser charge, you can just go anchor in whatever bay, harbor, whatever you're in, and then just dinghy in and out, and it's just way cheaper. Like, you're not actually on a dock. But if you have to, like, do repairs, or maybe, like, you're putting on a lot of fuel or something, you gotta get closer. You can't just ferry stuff back and forth with the dinghy. Then you can get closer, but it costs more.
Yeah, but that's legit. You can just anchor out in the harbor and then take your rowboat or your inflatable pontoon boat or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they are, a little inflatable pontoon boat. Some of them just with oars. Some of them have like those little electric trawling motors that don't go very fast, but it'll get you there.
Have you ever heard of somebody's boat getting stolen while they're
No.
on shore?
I have not, but
Yeah,
it just depends on where you're parking. Like, you don't want to go put yourself in a bad situation. If you're in a boat, go to the nice places. Like, you're controlling where you're going. So if you go right up into, like, the coast of Somalia, good luck. Or wherever pirates come from.
And that's where, when you're thinking about going around the world, did this dude ever run into pirates or run into if it's a whale, if it's a shark, if it's an animal, I will either make friends with it or I will eat it. But if it's people, you talked about us not wanting to be pirates. I don't want to be pirates either because there's people who've been pirates for a while and they're much better at it than I am. Has you ever run into like ill-meaning people?
I have never seen it in any of the videos. I haven't watched all of his videos for sure because he's been doing it for a while now. But I've never seen a single one where he comes across like someone who's like trying to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely come across like container ships and fishing ships and stuff that might be getting a little too close for him. They're not like coming after him. I did see though, just because I watched so many of his videos, I was getting suggestions for other like sailing and boat videos, and I did see one where it was like titled by some other dude like hiding from pirates or something, or like something along the lines of trying to evade pirates. So I guess it's possible, but at the same time, the ocean's a really big place.
Yeah.
Like, for someone to hone in on you, they're not going to get a lot out of it.
I think most of that activity is pretty close to shore anyways, because I'm pretty sure they're in small boats that aren't trying to get too far away from the shore. So if we went around the world, presumably you wouldn't be going an Arctic route, you'd be going around the Cape of Africa, is that what they call it, the bottom part?
Or, if you wanted to, you can go in through oh man, my brain's blanking.
Are you going to Suez Canal this?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Okay.
It's possible. You can do it, but probably should.
Do they let sailboats go through that?
I'm sure. The thing is, too, sailboats, they also have, like, an engine in them so, to, like, get them around, like, the harbors and the...
That makes sense.
Smaller places. Like, they do have an engine, so you don't have to have sails out all the time. For the long crossings, you can't... Like, if you're caught in the middle of the ocean, you're not going to be able to get yourself to the other side on just the engine and the gas you have.
Right.
But...
That's a big part of the savings, is you don't have to run an engine.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not spending anything on fuel.
How do the batteries recharge if there's not a...
Solar.
Okay.
Because, there's not a huge electrical draw from everything. So, solar, I've definitely seen his setup, and it's not major. He maybe has 12 square feet of solar panels max on his boat, and it powers everything. So...
It seems like you'd be saving a lot of money when you're actually out on the ocean, because you're not burning gas, but more importantly because you're not, like right now if you had a boat, it wouldn't be anchored somewhere, it would be at a pier or port or whatever, and presumably you pay something per month, per year.
For sure.
Yeah. And then I would imagine a lot of the cost comes from just like not working. Yeah, because if you go around, if it takes 20, 30 days to get from one side of the Atlantic to the other, then months, 3, 4, 6 months to go around the world.
Realistically, though, like if you're doing a full circumnavigation, you're gonna really look at about probably 2 years.
Really?
Because the thing is, it's not just about straight line speed. The biggest thing about sailing that I've learned to come circumnavigation sailing is hurricane seasons. And you have to time when you're doing these crossings in specific oceans and specific hemispheres. And there's a specific time when you're not going across the northern Atlantic because it's that time. There's times you're not going in the southern. There's not times you're going in the Pacific. Like there's just... You're dodging a lot of... Weather is the biggest thing on a sailboat because the weather is what's propelling you and it's what could kill you very easily if you got yourself caught up in the wrong situation in a 28-foot boat, which 28-foot does sound substantial, but when you're in a 28-foot long boat and there's 30-foot tall waves coming at you, that's pretty terrifying. So... Realistically, I'm sure people have done it quicker, and if you really push it and time it just right. But the thing is, with sailing too, it's kind of like a just going with the flow kind of situation. You could hope to get somewhere in 10 days, But if just the wind's not there, then it might take you 12. It might take you 15.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a lot of built-in buffer to do a lot of these big crossings. And realistically, for me, if I was ever to really get into this, I don't know if I'd want to do a whole lot of just like large passages, like crossings, like America to Europe. Like, wait till the summer, go up the coast of North America, see some Canada, see some Greenland, see some Iceland, and then come over into Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never that far away. Like, you can always, if there's an emergency, you can get to a port relatively quickly as compared to just going straight from, like, Carolinas to Bermuda to Azores to Portugal.
Mm.
And then that would definitely take a long time if you're going to do it that way, because a lot of times in his boat, like, he's having a good day, like an okay good day, like something he's not mad about if he's averaging 4 knots while traveling, which is maybe like 5-6 miles an hour.
Okay.
And it's also, you got to work the wind, so you can't always go in a straight line you're trying to go in. You got to tack, and sometimes you got to like zigzag to make forward progress just to catch the wind at the right angles.
Do you keep moving when you're sleeping, or is that too big of a risk?
So he does. I mean, I don't think he ever like does like an 8-hour stretch of sleep fully while he's out there, unless he like just decides just drop anchor and just not move.
Mm.
But yeah, like he'll sleep for a few hours, and he has an autopilot, and he has alarms and stuff that'll go off if things aren't going well.
Okay.
So you can do it, although I've seen a lot of comments being like, that's stupid, you shouldn't do that. But yeah, really, that's about all I really had to say about sailing. I mean, I know it would never happen. I'm never actually going to do it, but it's just a fun thought, because really, lately I've been thinking a lot about, I guess, my life just in general. And I've had some good times. Like, I feel like I haven't really accomplished anything that's epic.
Hmm.
And I want to do at least one epic thing in my life. Just one really, wow. Like, where the average person will be like, wow, that's pretty wild. And I'm not going to go into details on this episode. Maybe we'll dig into it on another one. But I had this original thought about just circumnavigating the world on just like a trip where I take flights and I just go destination, just around the world. And for no real reason other than it sounds cool, trying to do the whole thing in 40 days. Because it's, I mean, until we win $1 billion tomorrow, it's just 40 days is like the very top of the range that I could ever imagine any point in my life where I'm working and I have a job that maybe I could take that amount of time off. Like, and that's even a wild stretch. Like, I have to go on sabbatical, I have to get a lot of special approval from whoever I'm working for. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's possible to do that. To do years off, I mean, that's just not working for years and having to have tons and tons of money. But, so anyway, I put 40 days on traveling around the world in 40 days, just taking flights. And then I just thought of many other iterations of epic things, and that's one of the reasons why the sailing thing really kind of spoke to me. It's because I'm trying to find that, was that realistic, epic thing that I can put my time and effort behind, and maybe in 4 or 5 years I could accomplish said thing. And then have it under my belt forever, because then nobody can take it away.
Yeah. That's no small part of why I'm doing that fitness goals thing. Is because these are goals that are very much outside of anything I've done before. And I can't rule it out yet. I don't think I'll check every box.
Yeah.
I am just not as fast as I used to be. It hurts me to try and be as fast as I need to be to run 2 miles in less than 14 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
it just causes me great pain to the point where Ashley's like, "What happened to you?" But that is why I did that, though, is because it's over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, maybe I won't hit all these, but I'll definitely see myself grow. And now I kind of wish I had done like before and after photos,
Right.
because I look okay right now, and I am definitely at that point where I geared up, I plateaued to where I was ready to make gains.
Yeah.
And now I'm in gains, and I'm probably a third to half of the way through the gains that I'll have by the time I get to October as far as strength. And unless I hurt myself, because the weight is getting heavier and heavier.
Which is possible, and we are getting old and fragile.
If I hurt myself, I'd be very, very bummed out. But assuming I don't hurt myself, fingers crossed, knocked on wood, etc., I know I'm going to be very happy with myself for having applied myself and done all these things. And over the course of a year, and putting a bow on it on my birthday by eating too much, drinking too much, and ruining all the work that I did. But it'll be a good time.
I mean, I can definitely say your arms are looking big. Like, I haven't seen your arms that big since around your deployment.
A big part of it was seeing Ashley do like a low row or pull-ups, and her back is just shredded. Like, it was shredded a year and a half ago. It's even more so now. And I was like, she's in there every day. She's in there earning that shredded back.
Right.
And like, if I got to the gym every day right now, I don't think my back looks as good as hers yet still, and it's been like a year of applying myself, but really only like 4 months of trying to be in the gym every day like she has been for like years at this point. So yeah.
She is definitely a specimen when it comes to being ripped, and for the longest time I would give her shit about just being like, her muscles were so big they were offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And
she loves that.
and I still make it a point to say it to her every time I notice it. And the thing is, key to that is every time I notice it. I don't just say it every time I see her just to like try to boost her ego for any other reason. But I'll see her when you guys come over for Fast Fridays or anything, and she's in her tank top, and I like look at her back, and I'm like, oh my God, I could grate cheese on that back. Like, that's impressive. I feel like she should be getting paid just for having such a physique. Like, it's pretty impressive.
I mean, she would say she does, because she's the personal trainer, and she says that that's part of it. And just being, I mean, she certainly motivated the fuck out of me to get into the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, until the next movie comes out, last Fast and Furious Friday, tomorrow.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Yet I'm also super bummed that this watch through is coming to an end. But
sorry, pause. You know what might be fun is like just a little bit of production. If we did have a Nathan Kelly movie time, something like that. Nathan Kelly media time. Nathan Kelly media time.
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, we can insert in there, but yeah.
I mean, we're still figuring things out. we can put in what are they called? Whatever. I'll think of it next time.
I'm pretty sure I know who the spooky voice was in the last one.
Okay. I don't know if we need to go that deep into it. I don't want any spoilers.
You're right.
That's the magic about this coming movie, I guess.
And you have not seen it.
I have not seen this movie. So this is the first movie that all four of us will be watching together simultaneously and all be experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
And like I said, as sad as it is that this run is over, however many months it took us to get through all of these movies, it's going to be epic. Mm-hmm. And I'm already ready to start the rewatch over again once we watch it. But yeah, next week we'll talk. I'm sure we'll dive deep into it next week, just because, I mean, we probably won't we'll try not to have spoilers, but we're definitely gonna have to talk about it because as much as I do avoid spoilers, I've heard a couple things about this movie that I'm not gonna talk about. I'm not even gonna mention, but all I will say is they're kind of probably gonna be worth talking about once we see it. So
that's a good non-spoiler. Started taking off my hat to hit you with it.
No, I'm like the king of not wanting to be spoiled.
Same. I like being surprised. I like no spoilers.
Whoa, what? The guy that loves trailers more than anything in the world?
That's not the same.
That's totally the same.
Okay.
Trailers
I sort of see it. I really do like trailers, but a good trailer is enigmatic.
That's a teaser. That's not a trailer.
Very well. I like teasers.
Okay. I like teasers. But teasers really can't last more than like 45 seconds to a minute.
My favorite trailer of all time is The Force Awakens. I won for that.
I mean, I didn't watch any trailers for Top Gun Maverick, but I did see the original trailer.
There were some good trailers for that one, man.
Or teaser, I mean.
Yeah.
That original one with that original thing. Dun dun dun
Exactly.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And they're just flashing these just little 2-second bits. And oh my god, my heart. I have never felt my heart so full in that moment.
That's a good trailer because Force Awakens, very, very similar. Starts out with a pin drop noise, but then it's all that John Williams. There's some speaking, and when you actually see the movie, you realize it's all out of context. It's meant to mess you up, but like you're seeing things that are super compelling, but only for like 2 seconds at a time, and that music swells and it's wonderful.
It's funny what music can do for movies and just the score and the feel to it.
I think we're running up on time, but last thing, I'm sure next week we'll be talking a lot about the league post-commissioners meeting.
Post-commissioners meeting, yes. I am very much looking forward to it. Not really sure what we're doing. I have an idea for food, though.
Okay.
There's this pizza place Jeremy and I have been trying to get to for a while. But they sell out of what we're trying to get too early in the day for every time we try to get them.
Okay.
So, if you're interested,
yeah,
we could maybe like all three of us roll down there, get some lunchtime pizza, bring it back, and do our thing.
My only entertainment ask or getting in the mood ask is that we play some Madden. Replay the Super Bowl.
I mean, I'm totally down. I'm ready to lose. There's a lot of things that I can do pretty well. I'm just not good at video games.
I'm pretty sure the only time I ever play is when we do the commissioners meeting.
I mean, it's the same with me. I'm not playing all year round or anything. Honestly, if I did, it probably wouldn't matter because I like to play video games on the easiest, lowest setting. So I never progress my skills. I just like winning.
We have to have an episode about that too.
We will. But yeah, so we'll talk about our commissioners meeting for our fantasy football league more next week. Really meant to get to it today, but there was a lot of wasted space.
Stop that.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Whatever.
I saw what you did there and I didn't like it.
Anyways, for this week, thank you guys for listening. Look out for next week's episode, and we love you guys, and peace out.
Peace.